Now let's make the sweater. It consists of the main body, the sleeves, the collar, and the buttons. Start by crocheting the main body. Once it's done, pick up from the main body to crochet the sleeves and the collar. Finally, sew on the buttons. Here, we use a chain stitch for the starting point. Then, work back and forth along the starting chain. We'll use a new technique called skipping a stitch. Now, please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a chain stitch. Then, begin from the second to last stitch. Pick up the inside loop of the chain stitch and crochet. On the wrong side of the chain, the raised horizontal bar is the inside loop of the chain stitch. Pick up each inside loop and crochet the corresponding stitches. Refer to the diagram for details. Finish the last stitch. The first row is now complete. Continue with the second row. Start with one chain stitch. When the chart says turn, it means you need to turn your work. Then, begin from the edge of the single crochet stitch. Refer to the diagram and crochet accordingly. When crocheting on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch will be located at the upper left. Finish the last stitch. The second row is now complete. Move on to the third row. Start with one chain stitch. Turn your work, then crochet 10 single crochets evenly. Follow with 10 chain stitches. The chart shows K10, which means you need to skip 10 stitches. Pick up the next stitch and crochet 18 single crochets evenly. Then, crochet 10 chain stitches. Skip 10 stitches. Finally, crochet single crochets evenly. Finish with the last single crochet. The third row is now completed. Next, move on to the fourth row. Start with one chain stitch. Turn your work, then pick up the stitches and crochet single crochets evenly. When you encounter the chain stitch positions, pick up the chain stitches. Pick up the top strand of the chain. Crochet single crochets evenly. Crochet one single crochet for each chain stitch. As you move forward, pick up the stitches and crochet. When you encounter a chain stitch, pick up the top strand of the chain and insert the hook. Complete the remaining stitches. Finish with the last single crochet. The fourth row is now completed. Continue crocheting rows 5 through 11. Some rows will require increasing stitches. Other rows should be crocheted evenly without increasing or decreasing. At the beginning of each row, make a turning chain. These rows do not introduce any new stitch techniques or methods. Refer to the chart to complete these rows. After completing the last row, the starting position will change. Fasten off the yarn after completing these rows. Next, crochet row 12. Place the right side of the first row facing you. Then, position the side with the starting chain at the top, at the first stitch on the left edge. Pick up the gap or the space. Pick up the entire first stitch on the edge. Join the yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Place the slip knot on the hook. Pull through. Adjust slightly. The yarn is now joined. Chain 1 to start. Work down the side, picking up the gaps or the side stitches of each row. Crochet 1 single crochet into each row along the edge. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn as you crochet the edge. Finish crocheting the 11th row of the edge. Pick up the first stitch on the next edge. Crochet 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Continue picking up stitches. Correspondingly make single crochets. Keep crocheting until you reach the position before the last stitch on the edge. When you reach the corresponding position, pick up the stitch and crochet 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Then pick up the side stitches of each row. Crochet 1 stitch per row. Here, crochet while weaving in the previous yarn tail. Finish crocheting the first row of the side edge, then break the yarn. Weave the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. You can weave in a few more stitches. Weave in the starting tail in the same way to the wrong side. This completes the 12th row. At the same time, the main body is also completed. Next, crochet the sleeves. There are 2. Start by crocheting 1 sleeve. Find the position of the 10 chain stitches from the previous side. at the 6th chain stitch. Pick up the 2 strands of the chain stitch. This is the insertion point for the stitch pattern on this side. Join the yarn. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Continue to crochet 5 single crochets correspondingly down. Next, at the adjacent corner position, crochet a single crochet decrease. Here, you need to crochet a regular single crochet decrease. First, pick the insertion point of the adjacent stitch. Insert the hook. Crochet an incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. This is the incomplete single crochet. Then pick below the insertion point of the stitch. Crochet an incomplete single crochet. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops in once. Complete the regular single crochet decrease. Then pick the stitch from the previous skipped stitch. Work single crochets evenly. After completing, you will be at the corner position. Similarly, pick the adjacent stitch with 2 holes above and below. Crochet a regular single crochet decrease. First, crochet 2 incomplete single crochets. 1, 2. Finally, yarn over and draw through all the loops in once. Complete the regular single crochet decrease. Then continue to pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain. Work 5 single crochets evenly. Then join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. For the following 2nd to 5th rounds, work even with single crochets. On the 5th round, you need to change colors. So, after completing the 4th round, break the yarn. On the 5th round, join the new yarn in the first stitch. Then continue crocheting. While crocheting, weave in the ends. There are no new stitches or techniques used after this. Refer to the chart to complete these rounds. When finished, fasten off and weave in the ends. That completes the crochet process for one sleeve. Follow the same method to complete the other sleeve. Now the sleeves section is complete. Next, we will crochet the collar. Pick up stitches along the top of the main body and crochet. The new stitch techniques used include TV, working 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, F long crochet, FV, working 2 double crochets in the same stitch, E extended double crochet, EV, working extended double crochets in the same stitch, T half double crochet. Watch me demonstrate. Place the wrong side of the first row of the main body facing you. The side where you started the beginning chain should be at the top. Then count 15 stitches from the right edge. Count the V-shaped loops on the top. Each V-shaped loop represents 1 stitch. Pick up the back loop of the corresponding V-shaped loop. Join the yarn. Make 1 chain stitch to start. For the rest, insert the hook into the back loop of each V-shaped loop. Work 1 single crochet to the left. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn. Work a half double crochet increase in the next adjacent stitch. That means making 2 half double crochets in the same position. One stitch. 2 stitches. Complete the half double crochet increase, then work 1 double crochet. Work a double crochet increase in the next adjacent stitch. That means making 2 double crochets in the same position. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. Complete the double crochet increase. Continue with 1 treble crochet, yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat 3 times. 1 time. 2 times. 3 times. Complete the treble crochet. Work a treble crochet increase in an adjacent position. That means working 2 treble crochets in the same spot. One stitch. Two stitches. Complete the treble crochet increase. Continue with 1 double crochet. One half double crochet. There are no new stitch techniques used after this. Everyone can refer to the diagram and continue crocheting. Finish with the last slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. This completes the collar. When wearing it, fold the collar down. The side with the neat texture should face out. Next, sew on the buttons. Overlap the edges of the opening on the main body. Place the left side on top, then sew 3 pairs of hidden buttons evenly in the overlapping area. 1 pair looks like these 2 buttons. Sew through the buttonholes. There's no specific method required. Everyone can complete it on their own. After that, put the clothes on the doll. That concludes the tutorial for making the shirt. Next, we'll make the suspenders. Start with the legs. Main section 1. Main section 2 and decorations. The legs consist of 2 parts. Start by crocheting the legs, then connect them and crochet upwards to form the 2 main sections. Finally, make and attach the decorations. For the legs, use the chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Please watch the demonstration. Start with a chain stitch. Then pick up the first stitch and work a slip stitch. Make sure the right side of the chain braid faces out. Find the first chain stitch. Look for the raised horizontal bar on the back. This is the back loop. Work 1 slip stitch. Slightly tighten. Now the starting chain is completed. Crochet the first round. Start with 1 chain stitch to begin. Then pick up the back loops and work single crochets, making sure to correspond each stitch. As you crochet, pay attention to weaving in the yarn tails. It can be a bit tricky to insert the hook here. You can use a sewing needle to loosen the back loops a bit. After completing, check the stitch count. Finally, smooth out the fabric. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. For the remaining rounds, work in the corresponding positions of the previous round. Pick up the stitches and crochet in rounds. No new stitch techniques or methods are used. Everyone can simply refer to the chart for crocheting. After completing one leg, you need to fasten off the yarn. The other leg should not be fastened off. That concludes the demonstration of crocheting the legs. Next, we will crochet the main part, section 1. Here, I will use this small sample for the demonstration. Continuing from the leg that was not fastened off, start with a standing chain, then crochet 35 single crochets. Leave the last 7 stitches unworked. Next, pick up the leg that was fastened off. Find the 8th stitch. Pick up the stitch and work a single crochet. Continue crocheting downward. Crochet all the way to the last stitch of this leg. Leave the remaining stitches unworked after completion. Join with a slip stitch to form a circle. Pull tight. The first round is now complete. Rounds 2 to 5 do not use any new stitch techniques or methods. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete these rounds. After completing them, crochet the 6th round. Start with 1 chain stitch. Work 3 slip stitches into the next stitch, picking up the stitch and working correspondingly. Continue crocheting according to the chart, working each stitch correspondingly. Finish with the last chain stitch. Skip the next 3 single crochet stitches. Then skip the next 3 slip stitch positions. Pick up the starting single crochet stitch. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 6th round is completed. For the 7th round, when you encounter a chain space, you can pick up the entire chain space and work the corresponding stitch. Alternatively, you can pick up the top loop of the chain and work the corresponding stitch. Work each stitch correspondingly. For the rest of the positions, pick up the stitch and work the corresponding stitch. The remaining rounds do not use any new stitch techniques or methods. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete the remaining rounds. After completing, you need to fasten off the yarn. At this point, the explanation for section 1 of the main part is finished. Next, move on to section 2 of the main part. First, join the yarn at the 19th stitch of the last round of section 1. Then, crochet 2 chain stitches. Pick up from the left side, and work a single crochet decrease. Then, work 24 single crochets correspondingly. The chart then shows 2X and T combined into 1. This is a special cluster stitch. It means combining 2 single crochets and 1 half double crochet into 1 stitch. First, pick up the adjacent stitch on the left. Work 2 incomplete single crochets. Then, pick up 1 stitch on the left. Work an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over and insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all the loops on the hook. This completes the cluster of 2 single crochets and 1 half double crochet. That is 2X and T combined into 1. From now on, I'll call this the special cluster. Leave the rest unworked. Now the first row is completed. Continue to the second row. Start with 2 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn. Then, starting from the second stitch on the left, work a single crochet decrease. Continue to work single crochets evenly. Keep working until you reach the position where there are 3 stitches left at the end of the previous row. When you reach the corresponding position, work the special cluster. First, work 2 incomplete single crochets. Then, work 1 incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all the loops. This completes the special cluster. At the same time, the second row is completed. Move on to the third row. Follow the same method as the second row. Start with 2 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn over. Then pick up the second stitch from the left. Start crocheting downwards. End with a special cluster. The third row is now complete. For the remaining rows, no new stitch techniques or methods are used. Refer to the chart to finish the rest. Once completed, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes the explanation for section 2 of the main piece. Finally, sew the 2 legs together. Flip to the wrong side. Take a piece of yarn from the leg you crocheted, about 30 centimeters. Thread it into a sewing needle. pick up 2 holes along the edge of the gap. Leave a little yarn tail, sew in the same spot again. Then pick up the stitches one by one, sew them together correspondingly. As you sew, pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail. Sewing the edge gaps twice makes it more secure. Then hide the yarn inside the fabric. Pick an adjacent position and tie a few knots. You can weave in more stitches if you like. That completes the crochet work for the suspenders. Next, we'll make and attach the decorations. The decorations include the pocket seam, the pocket, the ruffle, and the shoulder strap. Let's start with embroidering the pocket seam. First, refer to the chart and pick up the corresponding color of yarn. Take a 30 cm length. Remove 2 strands. Thread the sewing needle. Then, face the main piece, section 2, towards yourself. Press the fabric flat. Find the fold point on the side. For this demonstration, I'll use the left side as an example. Insert the needle from the inside out at the fold point. Leave a little yarn tail. Follow the fold line downwards. Evenly embroider 5 small segments. Continue embroidering until you reach the 7th circle from the top. When making the first segment, you can tie the yarn tail. Then count 5 stitches inward. Embroider 3 small segments between these points. Next, embroider 6 small segments upwards at an angle. The ending position is below section 2. Between the 5th and 6th stitches from the edge inward. This completes the stitching for one side of the pocket. Finally, hide the thread inside the fabric. Tie a few knots while hiding the thread. You can hide a few more stitches if needed. For the other side, follow the same method, and embroider symmetrically. Complete this part, then sew the pocket. Pick up the fabric. Find 4 consecutive vertical lines at the positions of the 2 vertical lines on each side. Trim the fabric. After that, place the crochet piece horizontally on the main part, section 1. Below the second to last round. 1 crochet piece will cover about 4 rows of single crochets. Position it relatively centered. Then use a strand of a different color yarn. Insert it into a thin needle. And fold the sides of the crochet piece inward. Fold the individual vertical lines to the back. Pick the top and bottom points on both sides. Roughly secure their positions, and check if the placement is appropriate. once the position is correct. Keep the securing thread in place for now. Then take the crochet yarn from the main piece. Cut a 40 cm length. And thread 2 strands through a thin needle. Sew along the sides and the bottom edge. There are no specific requirements for the sewing method, just make sure it's secure. Try to avoid the securing thread while sewing. After completing the sewing, tie a knot with the yarn tail inside the fabric. Then hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. Cut and remove the securing thread. That's how you sew the pocket. Next, we'll make the cake. Pick up the light-colored non-woven fabric. First, cut a strip piece that is 2 centimeters long and 1 centimeter wide. Then use glue to attach it to section 2 of the main body. Above the second row, in a relatively centered position, the fabric piece will cover about 3 rows. Next, pick up the dark-colored non-woven fabric. Cut a strip piece that is 2 centimeters long and 0.5 centimeters wide. Then trim out 3 waves. After that, position the waves facing downward, and glue it to the top of the light-colored non-woven fabric. Everyone complete this part, then embroider the candle. Start with white thread, cut about 10 centimeters. Pull out one strand. Insert it into a thin needle. Then, on the top of the non-woven fabric, in a position that covers one row, stitch 3 to 4 vertical lines. After that, deal with the beginning and ending thread ends. Tie a knot first. Hide the remaining thread ends inside the fabric. Then use orange thread. I'll demonstrate with another color here. Cut about 10 centimeters. Pull out 2 strands. Insert them into a thin needle. Then, above the white thread, embroider a French knot. After that, settle the beginning and ending thread ends. Then use blue thread, cut about 20 centimeters. Pull out one strand. Insert it into a thin needle. Then, near the candle, embroider the flame. Each flame consists of about 3 to 4 line segments. There are 4 flames in total. The position and size can be random. Everyone, follow this method to complete the embroidery of the flames, then handle all the yarn tails. At this point, the cake making tutorial is complete. Finally, make the shoulder strap. First, pick up the crochet yarn for the main piece. Take about 20 centimeters, pull out 2 strands and insert them into a thin needle for later use. Next, pick up the ribbon. Insert a D-ring. Fold one end inward by about 1 centimeter. Then match it with the third to last row of the edge in section 2 of the main piece. Then sew a few stitches at the center of the folded ribbon. There's no specific method required, just make sure it's secure. Finally, handle the yarn tails. Then leave about 12 centimeters of the ribbon. Fix the other end to the back. Center it on the 6th stitch from the right. Secure it on the inner side here. The 6th stitch position from the right. Secure on the inner side. The length of the ribbon can also be adjusted according to your needs. Put on the suspenders. Then pull them along the top to the back. Sew and secure them at the appropriate position. Everyone, complete this part. Install the other shoulder strap symmetrically using the same method. Everyone, complete this as well. That concludes the explanation of the shoulder straps. The decorative elements have also been covered. Finally, wear everything neatly. Finally, let's make the hat. It consists of the main body, decorations, and a pom-pom. For the main body, we use the magic ring method, crochet in rounds counterclockwise. No new stitch techniques or methods are used. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete it. When you finish, leave a tail for sewing. Next, crochet the decorations. Start with a magic ring. Then crochet 5 single crochets. Close the ring. Join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Move on to the second round. Chain 1 to begin. Then crochet 1 single crochet. Followed by 4 chain stitches. Then work from the second stitch from your hook. Pick up the back loop of the chain. Crochet 1 single crochet. 2 slip stitches. Go back down, pick up the same insertion point, and crochet 1 single crochet. Now you have completed the stitches in the square brackets. Move on to the next set of stitches, in the square brackets. First, crochet 6 chain stitches. Then pick up the second to last stitch. The top loop of the chain, 1 strand of yarn. Correspondingly crochet 2 single crochets. 3 slip stitches. Crochet 1 single crochet in the adjacent position. 5 chain stitches. Pick up the second to last stitch, and crochet 1 single crochet. 3 slip stitches. Crochet 1 single crochet in the same position below. Continue to pick up the adjacent position, and crochet 1 single crochet. 7 chain stitches. Pick up the third to last back loop. Correspondingly crochet 1/2 double crochet. 1 single crochet. 3 slip stitches. One single crochet. After that, everyone refer to the chart and continue crocheting. When there is no indication to pick up the back loop, pick up 1 strand of the chain stitch. When it indicates to pick up the back loop, pick up the back loop. At the same time, only 1 single crochet within the square brackets. Pick up 1 position. The single crochets between 2 square brackets are picked up in adjacent positions. Continue crocheting. Finish the last single crochet. Pick up a stitch in the starting single crochet and slip stitch. Pull tight. Then fasten off the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. At this point, the decorative part is completed. Next, proceed with the assembly. First, attach the main piece to the inside of the right ear on the head. The position can be adjusted according to your preference. Pay attention to stuffing the filling while sewing. Then, use the reserved yarn to sew securely. There is no specific requirement for the sewing method, just make sure the fabric is flat and looks nice. Everyone can complete this step on their own. Next, attach the decoration to the main piece. The center of the decoration's starting chain should correspond to the center of the main piece's starting chain. Then, use glue to secure it firmly. The placement of the second round of decoration is flexible. After completing it, attach the second round, roughly corresponding to the main piece, and secure it firmly. Everyone can finish this step. Finally, attach a large pom-pom to the top of the hat, along the edge of the hat's main body. Evenly attach a row of small pom-poms. Use glue for all these attachments. Everyone can complete this on their own. At this point, the explanation of how to make the hat is complete. Up to this point, the entire process of making the toy has been fully explained. If you have any unclear points during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service. Susan's family. Every stitch and thread, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.